internet friends, family, my fellow cinephiles. Welcome to the final Straight Razor Top 10 of 2018. For this video, we thought we would do something a little bit different, something we could do every year. Instead of just one of us doing a top 10 list for the month, we are each going to do a top 5 list for this year, and it's going to be top 5 movies that we saw this year. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be new movies, but it could be, other movies that we just hadn't seen until this year. So, you ready to do this? We're just going to alternate. I'll do my number 5, he'll do his number 5, number 4, number 4, 3, so on and so forth. So, here we go. Our top 5 favorite movies that we saw this year. So, for my number 5, I picked Aquaman. This was a very late entry. I put it last night, literally, as soon as we were done seeing the movie. Like we said in the previous video, it was a good step forward, much like how Wonder Woman was before they took that nosedive with Justice League. And Aquaman, I think, will be picking up the DCEU, and then hopefully Shazam will, be that next step, and maybe we'll have a brighter future with DC.
Alright, so for my number 5, I went with Rocky Horror Picture Show. Now I know I should have seen it a long time ago.
Yeah, no, I cannot believe it took you this long. I put most of the blame on myself, because I feel like that was a movie that I'd been saying multiple times, like, hey, we should see this. And I own it. Like, that's another thing I don't understand. I own it.
Yeah, so I own a copy now, though, so no excuse.
Right. But you kind of made up for it with your first viewing. Tell them about that.
I went to a drive-in theater with my friends, and we saw an interactive showing of it. So there was audience participation. I actually did the time warp in front of people.
That's cool.
Yes, it was cool. I got to shake the hand of a guy who's been doing this for like 15 to 20 years.
Oh, and he's just like a repeat kind
of... Yeah, he's an older gentleman who was actually there at the very first viewing of the film.
That's cool.
He was dressed up perfectly as Riff Raff.
Okay.
Really interesting. The thing that blew me away was that my friends and we had dressed up as well. They did up my makeup. I looked like Eddie with like stitches and staples, fake blood. We went into the snack bar and we won the costume contest.
That's cool. Probably
because one of my friends wore actual authentic lingerie.
That's legit. So for my number 4, I picked Happy Death Day. It was actually really good for a newer horror movie. Not to say I am like have absolute hatred for new horror movies. I do like newer horror movies. I'm just one of those purists that, you can't beat the classics. But Happy Death Day really did open my eyes to some new slasher kind of aesthetics and, technical kind of things. You made a really good choice with that, and I was glad when we went to go see Halloween that they played the trailer for a sequel. I'm glad they're going ahead and going with the sequel. Definitely be expecting in the theater for that movie, for sure.
Funnily enough, people have been tearing apart Happy Death Day as if it's not a good movie.
Well, see, and I just don't get it. I absolutely enjoyed it. I thought it was a really good step forward for a genre that, let's be honest, has been dying for years. I mean, it was revitalized when Wes Craven made Scream, and ever since then it kind of went into a little bit of a, nosedive, originality-wise.
Well, almost like it went into a pocket dimension.
Right, exactly. And then I think that this was that genre coming back strong, and I'm kind of hoping to see more slasher films like that. And maybe this will build, kind of like, quote-unquote, like the next franchise as big as the likes of Nightmare on Elm Street or Friday the 13th. I know most people wouldn't want to see that, but me personally, I would like to see the next big series coming off since Saw.
I'd like to see how many times they can put a creative spin on the Groundhog Day formula.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, it looks like 2 is going to kind of flip it on its head a little bit, which I'm really excited for.
I can't wait to see it. For my 4th pick, I decided to go with Jigsaw.
Ooh, speaking of Saw.
Yeah, Now, the reason that it's so low on the list is not because I didn't enjoy it as much as the ones that you're going to hear after this.
Right.
But rather because I have a bit of a bias. Mm-hmm. Because the Saw movies, they were a thing that originally I was wholeheartedly against watching.
Yeah.
Because I thought, oh, these don't have plots, they're pointless gore fests.
Right, well then that's like the over general consensus of Saw, is that they're just gigantic gore fests with no plot. And I mean, yeah, the later ones kind of have a little bit. They it seems like with every entry that comes out, they always up the gore factor, which I can kind of see where the issue would be with that. And it does kind of bury the plot a little bit, kind of like you just said. But I mean, throughout the whole series, even though it seems to like dwindle with the age, with the exception of Jigsaw, I thought Jigsaw was heavy
revitalized.
On plot. It does kind of become a gore fest with the later ones, but in the earlier ones, it wasn't like that. And like definitely, I would agree that Jigsaw kind of revitalized that. It was heavier on the plot than it was on the gore, but there was still plenty of gore to go around for the fans of it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it honestly felt like I was watching something from Saw 1 through 4 with characters that I actually liked and wanted to see them get out of this.
Wasn't it kind of interesting, though, not to see them get out of it?
Yes, and that twist, which I will not spoil,
right?
Because if you haven't seen it, what are you waiting for?
Yeah, no, that one...
I got a poster over my bed, for crying out loud, and it's been up there since before I saw the movie, because it was that interesting to me.
Yeah, no, I feel like when it came to like newer horror films, I know for me personally, I really do enjoy the Saw series, but I feel like the Saw series kind of resonated very well with you, and
still not my favorite horror movie series. That still goes to Scream.
Oh yeah, no, Scream, like I said earlier, Scream changed the game for slasher films, so I kind of understand that whole thing.
Yeah.
My number 3 was Bohemian Rhapsody. I'll be honest, when going into it, it wasn't really a movie I particularly wanted to see. I'm not really a fan of Queen's music. I mean, I definitely have a little bit more of an appreciation for it now after seeing the movie, but I only saw it because my girlfriend wanted to see it, so I took her to see it, and actually I ended up coming out of it really, really enjoying the movie, and I definitely have more of an understanding of their music, and I kind of have a little bit more of I like to think I have a little bit more of an understanding about who Freddie Mercury was. I do have to say that Rami Malek really does portray Freddie Mercury really well. I really liked Mike Myers and the little bit of a role that he had. It was funny. The movie had its moments of serious, very, very serious moments, and had a lot of really good comedic moments.
Is it accurate?
I mean, who's to say what is and what isn't really accurate when it comes to like someone's personal life? But I mean, I'd say maybe, yeah. I mean, the way he portrays... I mean, after seeing some interviews after the movie, the way he acts, the way that, he moves, the way he acts on stage is spot on. Okay, because I've been hearing it both ways with that movie to the point where I'm torn whether or not I actually want to see it. No, I definitely... Especially because I know you personally, you do like... Yes, I do like Queen. I recommend seeing it. All right. I loved it. She loved it. My number 3 choice was my cousin Vinnie. You're welcome. Yes. This guy is the one who showed it to me. That's like my favorite comedy movie ever. I can't believe it took me that long to sit down and be like, bitch, you gotta watch this shit. When I told my mom that I had seen it for the first time, her response was, that's a good movie. Then there was a 3-second pause, turns back to me, does a double take, and she's like, wait, you just now saw it for the first time? I'm like, yeah. She's like, oh God, I failed as a parent. Yeah, she fucking did. No! You met you. Fair point, I guess, but... My biggest thing, I knew you were going to like this movie because of mainly Joe Pesci. Yeah, Joe Pesci is hilarious. I actually really enjoy what I have seen of the Goodfellas. And I say what I have seen. Are you about to tell me you've never seen all of Goodfellas? I have a reason. I think I know what's going to be on the 2019 list now. Well, probably. No, we'll have to check that one out. I can't believe you... Yeah, I almost bought it, but it was in a double pack with a movie that I didn't really want. And what's that?
I don't even
Or
remember.
was it Casino? It was probably Casino. They always put that in.
No, if it was Casino, I would have bought it.
Yeah, no, My Cousin Vinny, fantastic film. Joe Pesci's like super, super funny in that. Marissa Tomei knocks her role out of the park.
Herman Munster as a judge.
Yeah, no, gotta give it up for the Herman, Mr. Frankenstein.
It was just all in all a good movie, spot on comedy. Nothing too over the top.
No, not at all. It's a very grounded film. A lot of the stuff that happens is very relatable, which I think makes it work.
Yeah, and the fact that a simple misunderstanding is what fueled everything.
That's like the whole clinching point of the whole film. It's so funny. My number 2 was Princess Mononoke. This was the third Ghibli film I have seen now. And I have to say, after seeing this one, you've definitely opened my eyes to what, not only just the fact that it's kind of like making me take a step forward into getting into stuff like anime, but it's really just it feels like getting into just a whole new genre in and of itself.
Oh yeah. I mean, we might be watching them in English, but at the same time, just to see all the culture that's put in there.
Oh yeah, no, and it's fantastic, and something that after coming off of watching Spirited Away, and then you showed me Castle in the Sky, and now with Princess Mononoke,
which was new for both of us.
Right, it's kind of clear to me that they all have their own different like
vibe.
They have their own different styles.
Number 2 for me was Rampage. When I went into this film, I was overly critical of it.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's like one of your all-time favorite retro games, isn't it?
Oh yeah. And Rampage Total Destruction, one of the first GameCube games I got to play, because, well, GameCube was my first console I got to really own.
Okay.
Playing that game and loving those games, when I first heard there was a film, I'm just like, oh no, they better do this right. Then I saw who they got to play the lead, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and I'm like, oh yes!
Right, because you're a huge Rock fan.
Yeah. But this movie, I'm glad I saw it. It was really good. Mm-hmm. Like, the effects are good, the storyline's good. They changed a little bit around, like changing the name of the company, which I'm glad they did change the name of the company, because in the games it was Scum Labs.
Oh yeah, so I mean it was kind of cool for the time just because of the time it was made, but nowadays it would just come off as, overly tacky or cheesy.
Yeah, calling a company Scum Labs, even though it was an acronym that meant something, right. Even the acronym, which I can't quite recall what it meant, was a tongue-in-cheek joke. Mm-hmm. So it would have been just way too silly, even if they were going for a comedy, which they were in a way, but they didn't go over the top. The film, you can look at it as an action film and get enjoyment out of it, whether you're a fan of the games or not.
Right. That's cool. I definitely want to check it out. I've never actually played the games myself, personally, but the movie looked pretty good. So.
Yeah, the movie's really good. The toy line for it even impressed me.
Yeah.
And when the movie and the toy line came out, they even did a side toy line bringing back some of the retro designs.
That's badass.
Because they're just like, hey, we know they don't look like this in the movie, but here you go. Here's some Stretch Armstrong style figures based off of the original monster designs.
That's cool.
Yeah.
My number 1, fairly obvious. Should have seen it coming a mile away. I'm a huge MCU fan. If it was up to me, I would have put the Marvel Cinematic Universe. There would have been 3 spots. I had to limit it to just one, and the one I went with is now my favorite movie of all time, and that is obviously Avengers Infinity War. When we saw that movie, it was literally a dream come true. I know for both of us, but it was definitely something huge for me, and I have seen that movie at least 25 times since it's come out on Blu-ray. That movie is a moving painting, in my opinion. That is my vision of a masterpiece. I absolutely love that fucking movie. Just because I wasn't gonna put it, but just because of the fact that it impacted me so much as an audience member, and that ending, that hook it stuck with me. And I'm really excited for Endgame to come out.
Yeah, I've I've never been to a movie theater where I hear someone behind me almost sound like Terry Crews when the movie is over. I just hear someone go, "What?"
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure the entire theater at that point was like, "Wait a minute, that's not it." Marvel's like, "Yeah, it is."
Yeah, we just...
Fuck you guys, leave.
We sat there. We sat there until house lights came on and screen went blank. Just the whole time thinking, nah, Ashton Kutcher's gonna pop out or some shit because we are totally getting punked. There's no way they're gonna end it on this. And I'm just like, well, okay, yeah, I wanted to go home depressed tonight. That's cool.
And that's exactly what happened. But again, like I've said, watched it multiple times since. I'll probably end up watching it multiple more times. It's single-handedly my all-time favorite movie, and I'm excited for Endgame to come out.
My number one choice was Hotel Artemis.
God damn it, I want to see that fucking movie.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. I know that you want to see it now, but trust me, you don't even know.
Until after I see it, then I'll realize how much I want to see it.
Yeah, this movie is clever. This movie, it makes you... When you go in, you think you know what's going on. You think you understand everything. Everything is not what it seems. Like... Take a look at those trailers and everything. Would you expect that there would be sci-fi elements in it?
Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. For the most part, it's one of those films when I watched the trailer, I didn't quite know what to make. What to make of it.
Yeah, it's got sci-fi things. It's in the future.
That's cool.
But not too far into the future.
See, it kind of also had that kind of vibe. It kind of looked like it was going for like a Blade Runner kind of style.
Oh yeah, it's kind of like that, but we ain't got flying cars or anything like that. We do have a company, though, that basically has made a monopoly around clean drinking water. So only the rich can actually live with the common luxuries that used to be available to, well, everyone within America.
Right. All right. So worth the watch?
Worth the watch, especially for Charlie Day.
All right.
Charlie Day and Dave Bautista, they definitely make the movie.
All right. Definitely have to check that out. That's all we have for this very, very special episode of Straight Razor Top 10. This will be our last video of 2018. I guess we'll see you guys next year. Avengers Assemble.
May the Force be with you.
And it's time to kick ass and chew bubblegum. Take it easy, guys.
I just realized they didn't paint Goofy's shoes. They're the same color as his pants.